Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another episode of All About the Upgrade, where we talk about life after 50 and lifestyle and things that we're all kind of going through for the first time. So, anyways, it's been a while since I did a long format video. Life gets busy and life kind of gets in the way. I don't want to say it gets in the way, but things have gotten really busy, and I like to put a lot of time and thought into what I'm putting out there. Plus, in October, if any of you follow me and noticed, I did 32 cosplays in 31 days of October. So from spooky to bombshell, I did them, and it was a lot of fun. So go back and take a look and put a like or a comment. And I just want to remind you to please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Make sure it's a nice one or something with that means something. Okay. So this has been on my agenda for quite some time, and it's the delicate subject of death. Yeah, that's right. I usually don't like pulling the death card, but in the tarot, death doesn't necessarily mean death or somebody around you or you are going to experience death. But it's a different kind of death that you experience, and it could be the end of a way of life. It could be moving to a different way of life. So, on those matters of life and death, I have a lot of stuff that I've written down here and I want to talk about. So, you can look at my funny glasses. I just came up with this poetic quote that I made up. The imprints that the deceased leave on us are like broken recordings playing over and over in the ether. Once again, that's the imprints that the deceased leave on us are like broken recordings playing over and over in the ether. So I believe that energy and people and sound leaves an imprint. I can still hear the sound of both of my parents who are passed away. It's been over 10 years. I can hear their voices, and they definitely made an imprint on me in some way. What's been happening this year is it seems that every month I'm losing somebody, or even more than once a month. And these are people that I knew that I had been close to at one point or another in my life. These are older people. There are a few around my age. And every time I go to make this video or find time to do it, someone else passes away. And here I am rushing around in this busy life, trying to make ends meet in these times in this expensive city of San Diego, which I love. And I feel like I don't even have time to absorb, to grieve. And that's another thing that I wanted to say about society is you have to make time to feel your feelings. And when you're running around all the time, believe me, I know. I'm like the queen of work hard and stay busy. Um, where do those feelings go? I really have so much I wish I could have said to some of these people. One woman, I've known her since we were in our early 20s, and we danced together. We were in a dance company together. We acted together. We did all kinds of stuff. And I just, yeah, I wish I could say goodbye. And then something that I heard about from an old friend back from Pittsburgh. I said, "Oh, do you still talk to so and so?" Somebody that I dated in high school. In fact, it was my first boyfriend, and he happened to be very good friends with him. And he said, "Oh, I thought you knew." Boom. No, I didn't know. No. Wow. Wow, that's weird. That hit me in a lot of weird ways. And I guess when you get to be of a certain age, over 45 or 50, you start losing people around you. And that was a weird thing though. And I think this is where a lot of my trauma from relationships that betrayed me came from, but that's a rabbit hole for another time. So we're not going to go there. Not right now. Okay. All right. But anyways, I was researching this a lot and can go on and on and on, but a few of the diverse ways in which cultures understand and experience death. Cultures around the world have developed complex and multifaceted understandings of death, often reflecting on their broader philosophical perspectives. Okay, what does that mean? So, well, everybody does it in a different way. And for instance, many indigenous cultures see death as a natural part of the life cycle, and the deceased continues to play an active role in the lives of their descendants. So I'm pretty sure the Aborigine people, um, indigenous people see death that way, and they respect the ancestors and they keep the ancestors around and probably talk to them. I don't know, I do this actually. I sometimes I feel like I can feel a presence, especially my mom. My mom and I were very close, and I'm an only child. You can just feel their presence. And for years and years, and even now, like my parents are my dreams, but mostly my mom, sometimes my grandma, either one. And in my dream, I don't remember that she's gone. We're like doing something. We're out doing a thing in my dream. And I don't know why I don't remember. But that's how it is. Let me know. I'm really interested to see if other people are like this. Of course, I have a special place in my room where I have lots of pictures of all the ancestors. And yeah, I walk past it every day and I'm grateful. So, in contrast, Western cultures see death as an absolute and final event. That's the end. And a lot of cultures believe that they're going to a place up in the clouds or nirvana, heaven, or a better place, but they make a clear distinction between the living and the dead. I don't know. This has just brought up so many thoughts and feelings for me. And we just went through Dia de los Muertos, which I actually wanted to make this video for then, but things got in the way. So it's not only in Mexican culture that it's celebrated, it's also celebrated in Italy. And as some of you know, I'm Italian. So the belief is that when the veil is at its thinnest, that you can feel the ancestors in the room with us. I know I do. And when the veil is the thinnest, we honor our loved ones, our ancestors, the people who have passed before us. We honor them with candles, photos of them, sometimes elaborate decorations, and food, candy, coins. I do all of those things. And I do believe that you can feel something atmospheric that feels different about that time around October 31st, November 1st, November 2nd. I definitely feel it. And then there's another thing I want to talk about, and I think I could probably make a video for each of these points that I'm talking about today. I would like to elaborate, but for now, I would like to talk about the other side of all this. So you think, well, my ancestors left me with XXX, or they did this, or they did that. This is the way they did things. And we've been raised to be that way, to be a certain way. Well, my ancestors did it this way. We've always celebrated Thanksgiving this way. We've always had this meal. And I think more than ever, the adult generations of this time are undoing a lot of that. Now, believe me, I love tradition. I really do. But it does occur to me frequently that, like, well, we don't have to do it that way, do we? Why are we doing it that way? So, maybe we could have tofurkey for Thanksgiving. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. I just like to lighten things up a bit. But there's something that I've been working on for years, and you should do some self work. Some people call it work with your shadow self and think about who you are versus the habits and the patterns and the ideas that you have been raised with. You've been raised to be a person based on societal norms. You haven't been raised to be exactly who you are. And that is super important to me, authenticity. And sometimes I just need to keep myself away from people because I like to be my authentic self and I don't like to play games. Okay. I don't know. That's another story for another time too. Anyways, there's this idea, and I've worked on this a lot myself, of breaking generational curses. Oh, curses. What does that mean? Breaking generational curses. Well, it can be an idea of why does my family always need to move, or why does my family always need money, or we can undo that. You don't need to be the exact same copy of the person who gave you life. You can break generational curses because what it basically comes down to is that you've been believing this whole time, and you formed your life and yourself around this idea that's not even your idea in the first place. Yeah, I've been working on that. And once you see it, you can't go back. And it's a really good thing. I don't know how to tell you exactly how to get there, but you got to sit with yourself, and you can't be one of those FOMO people. What is FOMO? Fear of missing out. You can't be that person that needs to go out clubbing every night. So you got to be able to sit with yourself and break those generational curses. It's like a weight lifted off your body. You just want to be undoing and breaking down conditioned and embedded thoughts, habits, patterns, and ideas. I think I'll try to put this in a transcript so you can actually read it. And right now, there seems to be a huge tower moment. And I did not bring the tower card. Sorry. For the whole population, just not only here, but globally. The ways that we have always been trained and conditioned to do things is no longer working. Let me repeat that. The ways that we have always been trained and conditioned to do things is no longer working. In other words, the idea of the patriarchy is not working. It actually is harmful, not only to women, people of color, races, people who want to love who they want to love, people who want to be who they want to be, trans people. Okay, the patriarchy is not working. And this is a universal feeling, is that something has got to give. Something has got to give. We can't keep making the same mistakes. We started to lift people up and help people, and that's what needs to happen, not tearing people apart. Anyways, please like, share, subscribe, hit those buttons, please. And it's really nice to see that I have a few more followers, and I promise to do more long format, hopefully once a week. I'm a very ambitious person, and I wanted to say twice a week, but I will definitely try for once a week to have a nice long talk, because I've got lists and lists of ideas here. I have so much to talk about, but I have to do that other thing called work. So I guess the takeaway is get in touch with your feelings, reach out to people you love, and the self work. When you work on yourself, you free yourself, and know that your ancestors are always here with you. All right. Sending, oh, they always say love and light, sending lots of sparkles your way. Okay. All right. Later.